Spokane Valley could become a sanctuary city of a different
Councilman
kind.
Caleb Collier says that this
I'm proposing that the city of Spokane Valley issue a proclamation stating that our city is a Second Amendment sanctuary city.
Welcome to the fire.
Today on Church and State, Trump's Iran win will also be covering plans for the future, plus a peek inside of my demented mind. Hello, Christian Patriots, and welcome to Church and State, where we drive morality and religion over tolerance and apathy. And I'm your host, Caleb Collier, once again, your favorite far-right shock jock, and the show that talks about politics and religion. Jesus Christ is our referee, so it's always nice and clean. Real quick, to the website we go, churchandstate.media. Fill out the form. Submit to this. And only this. No, that's not fair. Submit to God, never to government. But do a submission here as well. And you can get our newsletter and a personal phone call from yours truly. While you're on the website, check out some of our most recent episodes, continuing to bring hard-hitting conversations. Dr. Jane Ruby was dropping bombs. Man, I love having her on the show. She's fun. And she's agreed to come on again and again and again. So you can expect more of her and her truths, which are actual truths, not like the left's truths. Check out some of the featured guests that we've had over the years, incredible people. And with all of those, just click on the name. It'll take you right to the episode or episodes. Also peruse through the great affiliates that we have, companies that I love, believe in, trust, use all the time. And use the promo code Church and State with all of those, and you'll help support us. Speaking of support, look, ladies and gentlemen, you know I love like Prepper Broadcasting Network, NRBTV. I love these guys. You know, they're so fantastic to give us a platform, a very unique show, and they love us. They really do. They really enjoy the fact that we're a part of their networks, and so many others. I mean, some that I haven't mentioned, but there's great networks that have us. But imagine me. You're driving down the road on a road trip, and you're spinning the dial, and you hear Sean Hannon, and he's like, Republican talking point, Republican talking point, Republican talking point. And you're like, oh, I can't handle it anymore. And then you flip it a little bit more, and Mark Levin comes on there with his, shut up, you big dope. He's got the worst voice. He really does. Right? And you're like, oh, that's like nails on a chalkboard. And you spin the dial a little bit more, and all of a sudden you hear me. It's a thing of beauty. I want to get there, but I need your help to do so. We want to be syndicated nationally. Come on now. Please, any little bit helps us, especially those reoccurring donations. And lastly, if you want to get a hold of us, Church and State 1776 at proton.me. With that, it has been a long time coming. Chris, what are we on, like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, where I haven't had any just me's?
It's been a while.
We've had like nonstop guests, just guest after guest, which are cool. They're great guests. But man, this is my therapy. I've told you this before. I need to be able to rant and rave, do weird things with just me that I can't do with guests.
Hopefully you'll get some of that out of your system.
Is your mic on? I don't think your mic's on.
Can you not hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. There you go.
Hopefully you'll get some of that out of your system.
Today is the day. Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's talk about a few things. All right. Number one. You know how there's certain people, great people, have great platforms. Not as good as this one, but great platforms. And then the host gets too old to do it anymore, or an accident happens or something like that. Well, I have ensured that we are going to have Church and State for many, many years to come. I'm going to pass this on to my daughter. And before we introduce her, and some of you have heard her before, but out of all my kids, this is the one. Looks just like mom, but mentally, I don't know. Is she going to be happy with that? Mentally, she's me. She's got my sense of humor. She's whacked out of her mind half the time. Absolutely. She says zany things. It's fantastic. Autumn, say hello to the audience.
Hi.
So, my plan is eventually when she hits 18, boom, co-host right here. And then eventually when I get too old, I can just pass on the baton.
You're gonna love me.
Well, I do, so the audience should, of course, as well. Autumn, are you going to be covering the same hard-hitting topics? I mean, you're already kind of libertarian. I mean, at 9 years old, would you say you're kind of libertarian-ish?
Yes.
Yes. How do you feel about the Democrats and the Republicans?
Don't really know.
Oh,
I know that I'm not one.
you're not one? Okay, so you know enough to start questioning the system. Can we expect a little bit more fashion? Are you going to wear shirts like mine and stuff? No?
Don't count on it.
Don't count on that one? Okay, but you will continue to host Church and State. You'll continue in the Collier line. Well, you'll be married by then. You'll have a different last name.
Yeah.
But still, that's the plan.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to pass it on. This is exciting news for me. And you'll probably have a much prettier host when she comes on. She's quite beautiful. She is. And I know I'm biased, but she's a very pretty young woman. So I'm excited, Autumn. This is going to be awesome. And speaking of younger people, I have 2 young fans in South Carolina. And they've been on me, Chris. They have been on me. You're not going to like this part. You're not going to like this segment whatsoever, Chris. But they have been on me to rap. They think I can't rap.
I think you're making them up.
I am not making them up. They are fans in South Carolina. They live in the Myrtle Beach area. I don't reveal things about people who contact me, but it's in the Myrtle Beach, outside of it, a little area. But great people. They love listening and watching the show. And they don't think I can rap. And they threw some Christian... Who's that rapper you had me listen to, Autumn, the Christian rapper? And I was like, this guy's terrible. What was his name?
Forrest Frank.
Forrest Frank, that guy. They wanted me to do one of his songs, and I was like, this guy's horrible. He's like the Vanilla Ice of the Christian rap world. That's bad.
That's mean.
Well, but it's bad. Like, that's really, really bad. Like, he's not good.
Vanilla Ice is awesome.
Well, maybe if you're a MAGA person, I guess, yes, then you still like Vanilla Ice. But they don't think I can rap, so.
Brace yourselves.
Now I'm all shy. Now I don't know if I can do it. I only know one rap song. That's it. That's it.
Don't worry, I'll be cutting this out.
No, you won't. All right, here we go. I'm getting ready to rap. And
Oh, boy.
Don't throw me off. It's not very nice of you. Don't throw me off here. I just lost it. I'm gonna have to come back to it. We're coming back to it. We're coming back to it. All right.
Okay.
Let me talk a little bit more about my demented mind, and then I'll come back to the rap. Okay. My wife wants another Frenchie. I don't like the Frenchie that we have. Sorry, Autumn. Cover your ears. The Frenchie that we have, is about as useless as they come. And it, just as a breed, they're a genetic nightmare. Like, they've been so inbred that they can't do anything. They're useless. This dog is like a cat. He sleeps like 16 hours out of the day. Chris, you've seen him. He's ridiculous. You know he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome dog.
No, he's ridiculous. Anyway, she wants another one. My wife wants another Frenchie puppy. And I have been like, no, absolutely not. We're not doing another Frenchie. I was playing catch with my son outside the other day, and a thought just exploded in my mind. I ran into the house, and I was like, all right, Jill, we can get another Frenchie, but I get to name it. She's like, well, what are you going to name it? I'm like, no, those are the stipulations. She's like, I'm not going to agree to it unless you tell me what the name is. The name of the dog would be, oh, ha, ha. I love this. This is the perfect name for a Frenchie. Imagine going to the veterinarian and they're like, And you're like, no, it's ha. Imagine being at the dog park and you're like, ha, come here. This is the best idea I've ever had. No, it's not, Chris. People are going to like this. If you're watching the show and you want me to name my wife's next Frenchie, let me know. Write us. Okay. Last one of pure ridiculousness. You know, there's a lot of big events going on right now, sporting events. The World Cup is here. Soccer's terrible. Sorry. If you like soccer, what's wrong with you? Okay? You're an American. And I know people are going to attack me over that, especially when I talk about how much I like hockey. You're like, you're not Canadian, Caleb. I know. There's plenty of Americans who play hockey. We just had the Stanley Cup. That was awesome. Hats off to my favorite team. Come on, Carolina. Hurricanes. Yeah, that's right. Stanley Cup winners. And a number of Christians on the team, too, which was really cool to see. But all that pales in comparison to what I found on the internet. Like, you've heard of the hobby horsing? You've seen this? The hobby horsing where they have like a fake horse and they run around? They're like, you know the little horse with a stick that you used to play with as a kid, Chris? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. No. That's not good enough. Now we've got synchronized walking. Go ahead, Chris. The anticipation's killing me. Oh, here they go. Woo! This is good. Oh, they're setting off. Look at that. Look at how synchronized they are. I want to keep going because there's an audience here. There's fans to this. Oh, look at that. Oh, they switched it up. Oh. I like how they have walking sticks, too. Okay, here comes the fan base. Look at the amount of audience members in that fan base. There's like 5 people there. Oh, that woman was dancing. All right, just stop. Just enough. Imagine your kid comes to you and says, I found a sporting event that I'd like to partake in, that I'd like to be a part of. And they bring you to this. Chris, would you disown your children if they told you they were into synchronized walking?
Oh, man, that'd be a tough event to go to.
I just, how could you be proud of this? You walk. You've been walking since you were, 2? And I'm supposed to applaud this? That's my child.
I might have to change my stance on the whole masking.
Yeah, I would be masked up with a hat and sunglasses. Like, I hope nobody recognizes me as I'm cheering on my kid. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I tell you, man, I can't handle it. I can't handle the stupidity of all of this. And speaking of stupidity, and I still got to rap. I still got to rap at some point. I'll get there. I lost the lyrics. That's why I'm stalling. I literally forgot the lyrics. Anyway. America. 250 years of America. That the world has got to experience America. The experiment in liberty. It was a thing of beauty. Absolutely incredible to behold. And how far we've come from that, from our noble beginnings. And now here we are, celebrating, about to light off fireworks. We just had the UFC fight on the White House grounds. There's an interesting quote from a journalist. If you think at the beginning of the last century. I have issues with some of what he says, but I want to read you this quote from H.L. Mencken. As democracy is perfected, the office of president represents more and more closely the inner soul of the people. On some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be adorned by a downright moron. Whew. I can already hear the people getting mad at me, getting ready to turn their dial. Before you do, let me explain something. All right, and Chris asked me to actually explain this. I tell you all the time I'm a libertarian. Little L libertarian. I have nothing to do with the Libertarian Party. Why? Because the Libertarian Party really makes me mad. Because they get so much wrong. But in principle, yes, I am very libertarian in how I approach government. I just want them out of my way. Now look, apply this quote to those of you who are Republican, to Joe Biden, to those of you who might have stumbled upon this show as Democrats, to Trump, if you will. I don't really care, but I want to make a point to you. And I'm going to take you back to really what we become as a country. Maybe our future. There's a little movie that I recommend on the show all the time. In fact, I drink the drink all the time. Yes, a little bit of Brondo for me because it's got electrolytes. And electrolytes are what plants crave. You ever seen a fat plant? Obviously not. So there is no fat to this. It's just pure electrolytes. It's the thirst mutilator. See, that movie wasn't supposed to be a documentary, but many of people have pointed out that yes, indeed, it seems to be coming true. Who was the president in Idiocracy? President Camacho. That's right. Does this ring true to you? This video that I'm about to show you? Is this what we're seeing out of the White House out of late? Go ahead, Chris.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of America! President Camacho!
Shut up. Is this what has become out of our most illustrious office? Look, I want to make some points here to you. And before I do so, I want to tell you where I think I've found myself. See, many of you are probably familiar with the Catholics who reject the Pope. In fact, in Spokane, where I reside, the biggest Catholic church that we have has actually rejected the Pope. And this comes from the 1960s when they decided that they'd gotten a little bit too liberal. A lot of the popes had gotten a little too liberal, and so the traditionalist Catholics emerged. And they've rejected the popes ever since the 1960s. There's been a little bit of an issue, but they don't like the popes anymore. I feel like me as an American, this is the best example I can give you for how I feel about the presidents. Because I think I'm just rejecting the presidents. I'm going to pick a specific time, and I'm going to just reject every president from then on. How's that sound for you? And who am I going to? Who were the last great presidents of these United States? And I would point to Calvin Coolidge and Herbert Hoover. Ooh, that's an interesting hot take, Caleb. You notice, Chris, have you ever noticed how all the superheroes, well, so many of them anyway, have their names, that their first name and last name starts with the same letter? Have you noticed this?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them do. Peter Parker, right? Wally West. There's a lot of these that have the same, their same letter for their first and last names. Interesting that the two presidents that I would pick, the superheroes, the ones that were actually constitutional, are the ones that I am going to accept. And from then on, I just reject. And why would I reject these ones? Well, let's go through the list. We got FDR, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump. And I just want to do some notable accusations against these presidents. Okay, I want to point to why, as somebody who treasures and loves the Constitution, why I would reject these presidents. We'll start with FDR. The Japanese-American internment. How about that one? I don't care. This one's awesome because it doesn't matter where you align politically. Jailing, imprisoning people just because of how they look, I would say is a bad form for America as a whole. All right? Obviously, there was the court packing attempt as well. Tried to pack the whole Supreme Court justices, multiple Supreme Court justices, with people who would abide by his will. And then we had the New Deal expansions, which were, if we're just being honest, pure socialism here on the good old US of A. And we got Truman, steel mill seizures. Oh, that's not something we should be doing. I thought we rejected fascism, right? Isn't that what we do as a country? We say, where there's going to be private industry and then there's going to be government. But not for Truman. Nope. He was like, yeah, you know what? We're going to seize the steel mills. Well, that doesn't sound very free market to me. Eisenhower, he used, and he's one of the better ones actually on this list, but he did use the federal troops in a lot of ways. That was federalism, pushing an agenda. Now, in this case, it was desegregation. So the motives were pure and true, but using the federal government, it goes and flies in the face of the Constitution and who we truly are. Kennedy, unilateral actions of the Bay of Pigs and Vietnam escalation, although this is debatable. And perhaps my issues with JFK are not so much on what he did politically, but more on the moral issues. Guys seem to have some concerns there. Now, in the Bay of Pigs, this was clearly the CIA, and in fact, they were at war with the Kennedy brothers, and JFK was actually going to de-escalate Vietnam. In fact, 2 days before his assassination, that was supposed to occur. Interesting timing there. Yeah, I think we all know who killed JFK. Nixon, Watergate, do I need to say more? All right, there's a lot of abuse of powers. Imperial. Oh, I missed Johnson. Sorry. Thank you, Chris, for correcting me. Vietnam escalation without formal declarations of war. Oh, where have I heard that one before? Interesting. Continues to keep coming at us. Great society, federal overreach. Yeah. Great society. Wow, what a great society he created. I've gone on record on this show before talking about some of his quotes about people with a little darker pigment to their skin. Yeah, Johnson, we see you, you racist. Nixon, Watergate, okay. Not a great president for us, obviously. Spying, using his lackeys to go in and break into businesses, it's probably not a good idea. Probably not a good look for America. Ford pardoned Nixon immediately. That was pretty nice of him. And he fell down a lot of stairs too, but he's not the only one. Well, he fell down the stairs. Biden fell up the stairs. So we're getting progressively worse on this one. Okay, Carter, oh my goodness, the peanut farmer. Executive agreements, foreign policy, handling the Iran hostage. That didn't work out so well for us. Then we get to Reagan. We had the Iran-Contra, and perhaps the biggest issue I had with Reagan was the 1986 Act, where he gave immunity to these big pharma companies to produce vaccines where if they damaged the people in any way, well, we had no recourse. We couldn't go sue them. It seems an abuse of powers. Constitutional limitations did not apply here. Then we go to George H.W. Bush, the CIA president. Oh my gosh. Panama, the Gulf War, wasn't authorized when he did these actions. This guy was, I was glad he was a one-term president. Chris, were you glad the OG Bush was a one-term president?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, real bad.
That was plenty.
Real
but then
bad
his
character.
replacement.
Yes. Yeah. Let me get Clinton. Come on. Clinton. Well, it all depends on what your definition of is. Yeah. What? That guy was impeached. Okay. Perjury, obstruction, the Lewinsky matter, acquitted. Executive orders on land and guns. He had no right here. Then we have George W., the W. Man, you imagine being H.W. Bush and you got the W. That's your son who becomes president. You're just like, oh. And he's like looking at his wife that looks kind of like a man. But he's looking at his wife and he's like, well, he didn't get his stupidity from me. Must be your side of the family. George W. Bush, post 9/11 surveillance detentions, enhanced interrogations. All right, some of those were stuck down. Just executive theory. There was so many issues with the W. Then we get to Obama. And we got DACA, right? We got the Libya intervention without Congress, recess appointments. Man, Obama was bad. Obamacare. Come on, can we talk about that a little bit? When is the government supposed to be involved in health care? And we got Trump's first term, impeached twice. That's different. Ukraine, okay, yes, for sure. Travel bans, border funding, diversions. And we had, of course, we can't, some of you may not like this, but COVID occurred under the watch of Trump. The first initial lockdowns occurred under Trump. It's again abuse of powers. Then we get Biden, who is bar none. All right, look, I got my issues with Trump, but Biden has got to be the dumbest president we have ever had in our life. That guy wasn't running anything, and I think we all know it. Besides falling up the stairs, we had the student loan forgiveness, right? We had the immigration border where he just made it completely porous and open to anyone and everyone. We've got mandates. We've got the Afghanistan withdrawal, which was a boondoggle if I've ever seen one. Executive orders on climate, guns, DI. What a mess. And now we're currently in Trump. Trump 2.0. And what do we have here? Man. Well, we've got this. Let's just talk about the latest things that have been going on. Okay, let's talk about the UFC fight. Look, this is not something you do. You want to go to a UFC fight? Cool. You want to announce it? President Donald J. Trump is in attendance at the UFC. Awesome. But bringing the bread and circus directly to the White House lawn is a no-go for me. It really makes the executive office quite ugly. And I love some of the people online that were defending it, saying things like, this goes to prove that the government is for the people. It's we the people bringing an event like this to the White House. Oh, really? Chris, did you try to get an invitation to the UFC fight at the White House?
No.
I didn't either, but I suspect that if I had...
I can't really afford to leave town.
Yeah, that's true. But I suspect if I had, I probably would have gotten turned down. Like, this seemed to me, as I was looking at the videos of all the people in attendance, it seemed to be for the elite. Specific people that are relevant, have a lot of money or a lot of power, that they seem to be the ones invited to the White House grounds. No, that argument falls flat. And you know I'm big on distractions. I got to point out the distractions. This whole Iran war, the Epstein files, let's distract you with the bread and circus of UFC on the White House lawns. And then we have a guy, Sean Strickland, who's the UFC champion, by the way, holds the belt right now. He was a little too critical of our friends in the Middle East. He wasn't allowed. Not only was he not allowed, he showed up and they escorted him out. The champion escorted out. And then we've got this whole Iran deal. And this is a big one for me. It's a big one because you know on this show I talk about it constantly. Stop with the endless wars. Stop it. We go back to these presidents here. I was talking about all of them. How many of them have unnecessarily got us engaged in another war over and over and over again? Vietnam, right? We got the Iran-Contra. We got Panama. I got Grenada or whatever. We got so many different wars. Iran, Afghanistan, and Ukraine. And I'm out of time, but I'm going to come back and finish this segment. This is Caleb Collier with churchandstate.media. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not sleeping on MyPillow, do you even patriot? I got to tell you, this is the most wonderful stuff from a man who's given it all for your freedoms. Whether it be the pillow, the sheets, or the slippers, I absolutely adore MyPillow. MyPillow has the greatest products around. I know when I want to shuffle around in my bathrobe and slippers and yell at the neighbors, of course I'm buying from MyPillow. I need you to head on over to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, because every single time that you purchase any of these products using the promo code Church and State, you ensure that we keep our message out on the air.
I thank everybody for your support in using promo code Church and State. You guys go to mypillow.com/Church and State too, and then you get your own little platform right there, everybody.
I gotta have more of the electrolytes. What, Chris? What?
I really hope you're getting the weird out of your system this episode.
I like the Brondo. The Brondo's good, man. Makes me feel good about myself. There's so many great things about Brondo, right? It's what plants crave, obviously. Not water from the toilet. Nobody drinks water from, like, the toilet. Okay? And Chris, if you have one bucket of Brawndo that contains 2 gallons and another bucket that contains 7 gallons, how many buckets do you have?
Numbers are hard.
2? Hey, you're over at churchandstate.media, and we're going to go right back into some more of my rants and raves, and hopefully I figure out how to rap soon. But before I do, let's talk about one of our great affiliates, and let's talk about Mark 37. Right now, Mark 37 is like watching this going, not with how weird he is. Don't advertise for us with how weird he's acting on today's episode. Tough, because I have the microphone. Where's my button? I have a button for this. This is how I feel about it.
I have a microphone and you don't.
So you will listen to every word I have to say.
That's right. You're going to listen to every word I have to say. That's right, Mark 37. What are you going to do? Fire me? And maybe I shouldn't give him ideas.
I might have to edit that.
No, you're not. Keep it in. Tired of your device spying on you? I know I am. Where I was. Now I'm not anymore because it's not spying on me because I've got a ghost phone and I got a ghost laptop right in front of me as well. I love this stuff. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, to those of you like on the fence, like just pull the trigger already. It's so nice to have a phone that I don't have to worry about. Look, it's not a silver bullet, but it's 10 times better than the one you currently have in your pocket or purse. Get one of these. Check it out. And the excuses, I love the excuse. Chris, have you heard this one? Well, I don't care if they're listening. I've heard Christians say this a lot. Like, I don't care if they're listening. Why? Because all they're going to hear, my FBI agent that's monitoring everything I do, they're going to be converted to Christianity.
Yeah, I have nothing to hide.
Yeah, I've got nothing to hide. Number one, let me just pop that ego right there. You don't have an FBI agent assigned to you. Okay, your content, your phone, your conversation, it's being fed into the algorithm, all right, and being stored. And if and when they decide that you're an enemy of the state, now they can go back and look at that stuff. And now with the artificial intelligence, it's not even going to require an agent to do it. Look in this person's phone record, every call they've ever had, every text they've ever done, and see if there's anything in this that we can use to prove that, yeah, they're a danger to this country. That's what it is. So, yeah, you do have some reasons to be concerned about your privacy. Get yourself a ghost phone. Get some ghost products from mark37.com and use the promo code Church and State. You're going to get a discount and you'll help support us. And one more time for you. Donate. You know you want to donate because I've got to be on the air. I have to. Autumn, come back into this conversation. If I didn't have this for therapy, like you already know you have a pretty strange dad, right?
Yeah.
But I'm fun, aren't I?
Yeah.
Come on. Bedtime routine. We're like fighting, wrestling. You're like trying to tickle my feet.
He's very tickled.
I know, right? That's good because I'm a weird dad. If I was just like, get out of here, kid, go to bed. That wouldn't be good, would it?
No.
But I gotta have this show because otherwise I'd be even stranger.
No, you can't get any stranger, Dad. Nothing beats that.
Well, tell the public to donate to keep us on the air.
Donate.
Please.
Keep him on the air.
There you go. How can you say no to that sweet, innocent little voice?
That's me.
Hit the donate button. All right. With that, let's go back into it. Getting angry about this Iran deal. I'm upset. I'm upset. Why? We're giving them $300 billion. That's why. Okay, and Trump's little post is like, also the story that the U.S. is paying Iran $300 million is fake news put out by the Democrats. Whoa, wait a minute. You said the wrong thing here, Trump. You said, it's right there, Chris. You just passed it. You just said $300 million. It's not $300 million. So you're actually not lying here. It's $300 billion. $300 billion. A reconstruction fund under a prospective memorandum of understanding, MOU, expected to be signed on Friday in Geneva. So wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Let me see if I can wrap my brain around what's going on with the whole Iran deal. So, Iran who was just kind of existing. A bad player, sure. Okay. Granted, we had Obama in 2015 with his Iran deal, where he literally bribed the Iranians with a whole bunch of money so that they would stop with the nuclear program, because we already had that. Don't worry, Democrats, you're not getting a pass on this either. But now we have Iran, who was just existing, and the Strait of Hormuz was open, and we were getting gasoline through the Strait of Hormuz. And then we decided, you know what? Roll up your sleeves, boys. Time to go to war. So then what did we do? We went and bombed them. And we spent like 40 million, I don't know, 40 billion, I don't remember. We spent a lot of money on bombing them and destroying their infrastructure. And they closed the Strait of Hormuz. So now we're going to give them 300 billion so that we can rebuild Iran and open the Strait of Hormuz. Seems like a good deal. What, Autumn? You want to say something here?
Speaking of rap, think we're all waiting for something?
Not yet. I'll get there. Right now I'm angry at Trump. You got to let me roll. Here. Does this just sound stupid to you? Because it sounds pretty stupid to me. Is this a win? How is this a win? That's what they're projecting right now. And a lot of the MAGA folk, Trump did it. He ended the Iranian war. Yeah, good job. Where's this 300 billion coming from? And to the Iranians, you don't think there's strings attached to that? Obviously there are. But J.D. Vance is out there promising this is nothing at all like what we saw with Obama. We're not bribing the Iranians to stop with their nuclear program. This isn't a win. This isn't a victory for us at all. But if we're going to be continued to just divided by tribalism and brought in to presidents who really aren't constitutional, who really make me upset and should make all of you upset as well, we're just going to get more of this. The next president, it's just going to be more of this. And who do we got? I mean, look at the Democrat side of things. They're floating people like Newsom, like Kamala again, like AOC is in the mix. You get much dumber than those people? I mean, will we at one point, if the Democrats get back into power, with one of the three that I just mentioned, will we look at Biden and be like, man, that guy was brilliant?
Oh, dear. I don't think that's possible, but I guess it could get worse.
It could.
I don't even.
It absolutely could. And then the front runner for the Republicans right now is Marco Rubio, who's a war hawk, 100% war hawk. Hasn't met a country he doesn't want to invade. This is just going to be fun, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Or maybe we could really put things in the right perspective. And let me do something else that's really going to make people upset. I love making people upset, but I look at things differently. You ever heard the slogan from the left, eat the rich? You ever heard this before? Eat the rich. They talk about this a lot. What does it mean? And Chris is showing you a great image of this. Eat the rich. This is something that the more hardcore leftists will talk about. And it's an attack on capitalism as a whole. Now, don't worry. I'm a free market guy. There is a difference between capitalism and free market. And in fact, I got a guy coming on to talk about that in the not too distant future. But we're not going to go into that right now. But this is an attack on capitalism, and really an attack on crony capitalism. They're identifying the fact that there are some very wealthy people. Now, they look at all the corporations, but there's some very, very wealthy people who seem to be controlling everything. All right? They're controlling everything. And they've identified them as the enemy. Now, with Eat the Rich, what's the difference between Eat the Rich? Well, not very elegant. But what's the difference between that and this? But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, am I blowing that word? Anyway, pursuing invariably the same object if this is a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Now, that's a direct quote from the Declaration of Independence. Eloquent, beautiful. I think they're saying the same thing. That probably just upset a lot of people. But I think they're saying the same thing. They're not identifying the proper enemy. They did in the Declaration. But the left and the right are saying the same thing. They're just not identifying the right enemy. You see, they got us divided. On one end, you got the leftists. On the other end, you got the right. There's that line. You don't cross that line. We're the enemy. But the reality is like this. You got the wealthy. You got the elite. And then you got us. The peons. The poor. The workers. You see, the reality is it's not left, right. It's top and bottom. And I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but the vast majority of you are the bottom. And you're not identifying the proper enemy. The enemy is out there. But it's the elite class. It's business owners, sure. But it's people in politics. It's people in religion. It's people in agriculture, in education. They're the top percent. And they've decided that they can govern you a whole lot better than you can govern yourself. And they are enemies to freedom. And they want control. And they use this tribalism. They use the little squabbles that really aren't important to them retaining their power to keep us from identifying the true threat. We have to stop this. We have to come together. We have to stop fighting over these simple and stupid things. And start realizing that the true enemy is the one that's pulling all the strings. I refuse to be a puppet. I can't be. And I don't want you to be either. It's time to cut those strings. And to see, much like Pinocchio, if you can be a real boy. And from there, grow into a man. And you know what a man does? A man challenges authority that has become an enemy of liberty. A real man cares for his family. A real man will hit the streets and protest something that they see as a wrong. A real man will take back the halls of government and will demand that churches preach that the word of God. It's time to lead our families. It's time to lead our faith. It's time to lead our country. And to stop being distracted by the bread and circus of a UFC fight on the White House lawns. It's time to stop being distracted by the enemy of the left or the enemy of the right. It's time to stop being distracted from the enemy of Iran or Afghanistan or Iraq or Ukraine or Cuba or Venezuela or any other country out there. It's time to start working on America first and Christianity first. Our families. That's what this is about. This is what this war is about. And I just hope that enough of us can see through it and determine that they will not lead us, that we will not go quietly into the night and allow ourselves to just be fat, dumb, and happy as our country literally implodes in front of us, as our Christianity becomes so watered down that you can't recognize it from secularism or any of the other false religions out there. This is what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to actually start working and operating and believing in the power that we have as Christians and as Americans who have the benefit of living under a republic. I can't do it anymore. I can't, and I won't. So I'm going to throw out bombs. I'm going to attack whatever it looks like. And with that, it's time to wrap. It's time to wrap, Chris, to prove that I can do it. If you don't want to see this, I understand. No hard feelings whatsoever. You can turn off this show right now. But I got to prove that I can do it just so these two young fans know that I am much more talented than, what was his name? Forrest Franks? Is that his name on him? Forrest Frank? Yes. Guys, anyway, here we go. To watch that belly get fat, a fat boy on a diet. I don't try it. I jack your bottom like a looter in a riot. Mustard gas like a sumo. Slamming that bass. Putting your face in the grass. You know, I don't take a judo. A lightly punk just jealous because he can't outright me. And the lights are blinking. I'm thinking it's all over when I go out drinking. Oh, making my mind slow. That's why I don't mess with the big 4-0. Bro, I got to maintain. And that's all I can sing of that line because the rest of it gets weird. And I actually had to change some of those lyrics. But there you go. I can rap. Chris, were you impressed?
Yeah, that was amazing.
I know. Church and State is brought to you in part by Colonial Life Spokane Independent Agents, Finders Insurance, and Mark37.com. I'm Caleb Collier. I don't even know, but I'm born for a storm.
Welcome to the fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you to be a walking billboard. Some of us don't have platforms such as Church and State, but you know what? We can wear t-shirts and engage in great conversations with Christians and patriots all across the country. Stand Up Now Apparel is the best t-shirts out there. These are American-made, owned by a Christian and a patriot, and the material, it's like getting a warm hug from yours truly. One of the better things as well is there's no tags. I hate tags. I know you do as well. I don't know how many times I've cut off a tag and ended up with a hole in my shirt. You never have to worry about that with Stand Up Now Apparel. These are the best shirts out there with the greatest messages. Let me give you a few examples. There's a t-shirt out there that says Armed with Ephesians 6 on it. I gotta tell you, when I wear this in town, I get a lot of comments and a lot of eyebrow raises. There's other shirts that include pure blood in Hebrew, obviously in reference to the vaccines, and also you can get Church and State merch there as well. We've got our flagship shirt, I Was Born for a Storm, with Church and State right on it. You got to order this shirt. Go to Stand Up Now Apparel for t-shirts and hats, all of this great merch with great Christian and patriotic messages. Remember to use that promo code Church and State. Hey, this is Caleb Collier with the Church and State Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you to go to Galileo.com. You need to stay connected no matter what comes our way. Whether it's government intrusion or a meteor falling from the sky, Galileo has you connected. As a Marine veteran, I can tell you that communications is essential. Galileo has you connected. Whether it's worldwide coverage, uncensored content, or real-time alerts, Galileo is going to make sure that you're connected with your friends, family, and neighbors. Just head on over to churchandstate.media, scroll over to shop, and hit Galileo.com. Make sure to ask them for a free bivvy stick, and make sure to use that promo code Church and State. Hey, this is Caleb Collier, and I know you're excited for the Church and State podcast. Now, as a Christian patriot, I love precious metals, whether it's gold, silver, palladium, and of course, lead. And this is why I want you to go over to Ponderay Ballistics, don't ask me how to spell it, for all of your ammunition needs. Remember, that's Pendoreille ballistics.com for all of your ammunition needs. I want you to head on over to churchandstate.media/shop, go to Ponderay Ballistics, and have a shooting good time.